Hello everyone. In the previous session, we got a basic idea about what a variable is in Python. We understood that a variable is simply used to store data inside the computer. Now in this session, we will understand variables in a much better way using simple civil engineering examples. Since this is your first programming concept, so don't worry about coding or syntax. We will learn everything step by step in a very simple manner. So by the end of this session, you will clearly understand what a variable is, why variables are important, and how variables are used in civil engineering calculations and data handling. So let us start learning variables in Python using practical civil engineering examples. So suppose we are working on a road project, and after measurement we found that the road length is 500 meter. Now imagine that we want to store this value inside the computer so that we can use it later for future calculations. In Python, we use something called a variable to store values. Now refer to this code road underscore length equal to 500. So now let us understand this line carefully. Here the left hand side, that is road underscore length, is called the variable name. This is simply the name we give for storing the data, and 500 is the value stored inside that variable. Think of it like a storage box. Outside the box there is a label. Inside the box some material is stored. Similarly, in Python, variable name is like the label and the value is the data stored inside. Here you can see a container. The label on the container is road underscore length, and inside the container the stored value is 500. So whenever Python sees the word road underscore length, it understands that the value is 500. Now you may ask, why do we use variable? Suppose you are working on a large engineering project. In that project, you may have many values such as road length, traffic count, bridge span, soil depth, and building heights, so on. It is difficult to remember all these values manually, so we store them inside variables. Variables helps us to store data, organize data, and use the data again and again whenever needed. Now refer to the line of code print within parenthesis road underscore length. This line is called a print statement. The word print means display something on the screen. When Python reads this statement, it does not display the word road underscore length. Instead, Python checks what value is stored inside road underscore length. When Python finds that the stored value is 500, then it gives the output as 500. Now let us understand one very important point. This is something students usually get confused about in the beginning. In mathematics, the equal sign means it is equal to. For example, 2 plus 3 equal to 5. Here both sides are equal. But in Python, the equal sign has a slightly different meaning. In Python, this does not mean road length is equal to 500 in the mathematical sense. In Python, this statement means store the value 500 inside the variable road underscore length. So the equal sign in Python means assign the value or store the value. Think of it like placing a file inside a labeled folder. Folder name road underscore length and the file inside is 500. Python is simply storing the value inside the variable. So remember this carefully. Road underscore length equal to 500 means store value 500 inside the variable road underscore length. So let us repeat once again. Variable name is nothing but your container level. Value is your data stored inside, or equal sign means store the value. So till now we studied what a variable is, how Python uses variables, and what the equal sign means in Python. Now let us see another example. Suppose we conducted a traffic survey, and during this survey we counted 120 vehicles. Now refer to the line of code traffic underscore count is equal to 120. Here on the left hand side, that is traffic underscore count is your variable and 120 is the stored value. That means this variable may represent 120 vehicles observed during a traffic survey. In transportation engineering, we often work with traffic volume, vehicle speed, traffic density, delay time. All these values can be stored using a variable. Now let us take another example from geotechnical engineering. Soil underscore type equal to clay. Here the clay has been written within double quotation. Here in this line of code, the value is not a number, it is a text. That is why the word clay is written inside quotation mark. In Python, numbers can be written directly, but the text data is usually written inside quotation mark. Now let us see why variables are useful in calculations. Till now, we studied that variables are used to store data. But now the question is, why do engineers use variables? The answer is very simple. Variables help us perform calculations easily. Suppose we want to calculate the area of a rectangular plot. We know the formula area equal to length into width. Here, instead of directly writing the number in the formula, we first store the values inside variables. Now refer to the code length equal to 20, width equal to 10. This means the variable length stores the value 20 and the variable width stores the value 10. Now you can imagine that Python is storing this value inside small container. The container name is length, stored value is 20. Again the container name is width, stored value is 10. Now we want Python to calculate the area. Again refer to the line of code area equal to length asterisk width. Here asterisk means that is multiplication. So Python multiplies length and width. So in this code, Python already knows length contains 20 and width contains 10. So Python performs 20 into 10. The result becomes 200. Therefore, the variable area stores the value 200. So finally, area equal to 200 square meter. Now imagine if the plot dimension change. Suppose tomorrow the length becomes 50 meter and width becomes 12 meter. We only need to change the stored value. Python will automatically calculate the new area. This is why variables are very useful. They help us to store values, reuse values, and perform calculations easily. In civil engineering, we perform many calculations such as area calculation, volume calculations, traffic calculations, stress and strain calculation, quantity estimation. So variables help us perform all these calculations easily using Python. Now let us understand why variables are important in civil engineering. Till now we studied that variables are used to store values and perform calculations. But in real engineering projects, variables help us in many more ways. First one is organize data. Variables help us organize data properly. In civil engineering, we work with many different types of data such as road length, traffic count, concrete grade, soil depth, beam width, water level. If all these values are stored without names, it becomes very confusing. But when we use variables, we can give meaningful names. Road underscore length equal to 500, traffic underscore count 120, soil underscore depth equal to 8. Now it becomes easy to understand what each value represents. Now second one is save time. Variables also helps to save time. Suppose we need to use the same value many times in a calculation. Instead of writing the value again and again, we store it once inside a variable. For example, road underscore width equal to 10. Now we can use road underscore width many times whenever needed. This makes our work faster and easier. Next one is easy calculation. One of the biggest advantages of variables is easy calculation. In engineering, we use many formulas. Python can use variables directly inside formulas. For example, area equal to length asterisk width. Python automatically performs the calculations using stored values. In civil engineering, this is useful for area, volume, stress calculation, quantity estimation, traffic analysis, and many more other applications. Fourth one is reduce errors. Variables also helps reduce mistakes. When we do manual calculations repeatedly, there is a higher chance of errors. But when Python performs calculation using variables, the work becomes more accurate. Suppose you are calculating road area for many roads. Doing everything manually may create mistakes, but Python can calculate quickly and correctly using variables. Next advantage is handle large data. In civil engineering projects, we often work with large amount of data. For example, traffic survey data, soil investigation data, rainfall data, laboratory test data. Variables help us to store and manage this data properly. Now let us understand the main idea once again. A variable has two important parts. One is variable name, another one is value. Variable name is like a label. This tells us what type of data is stored. The value is the actual data stored inside the variable. So when we combine variable name and stored value, we get a variable. So remember this important idea. A variable is simply a named container used to store data. Variables helps engineers to organize information, save time, perform calculations, reduce errors, and handle large engineering data easily. In the next session, we will continue our learning by understanding two important concepts in Python programming: rules for naming variables and data types. We will learn how to write variable names correctly, what are valid and invalid variable names, and different types of data that Python can store. So see you in the next session.